What's cooking, everybody? Dave Altizer here with
Connor McCaskill.
and we're starting a little early today. It's what time is it? It's 12:28. You said we do 12:30.
Yeah.
Although technically speaking, we're not early.
Yeah, we're like 2.5 hours late, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like when we left the office last night, we agreed upon doing this stream at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did stay up pretty late working on the video for today on the a6400. So it was definitely worth it. The video's getting some good traction.
Yep. And I just stayed up late watching cartoons.
But I was kind of like, hey, can we just push it to noon? I'll be there at 11. I didn't get here till 11:30. Mm-hmm. We weren't ready, so...
It's just a normal Kinotika day.
But we do have some big news this week. Sony announced the a6400, if your subscription feed hasn't told you already.
And it's not this.
Yeah, this is definitely not the 64. This is 6300. What's up, Eric? What's up, Comedy? Red Voyager, Alberto,
Justice.
Steven.
Para la G7 for the G7, I think, right? I'm probably wrong. Sorry, Alberto.
But yeah, we were just talking as we're getting started here. You were talking about how you were working out this morning and you're all sore.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I wanted to share this on the stream. I've actually taken up the drinking apple cider vinegar
gross
thing. So I take about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, put it in some water, mix it up.
Do you add honey? A lot of people add honey.
That's a good idea.
Kind of help.
I don't really mind it. I just kind of bear the disgustingness of it.
Yeah, I don't.
Think about the health benefits.
I've definitely tried it once or twice. I think it's a myth. I don't know.
Is it?
It's a fad.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's definitely not killing me. So
yeah, that's true. It's just killing your taste buds.
Malachi, who is Connor's roommate, is actually sleeping in his room over in the next room.
Maybe.
So
we've been kind of loud. He might be up.
So yeah, we've got some people here already, so we can just jump right into it, as the old Philly D would say.
Yeah, we can't say the beginning part because we don't want to get demonetized.
Yeah, but basically, Sony announced the a6400, kind of a surprise. First off, why didn't they announce this at CES so that we could have seen it at CES? That would have been nice.
No kidding. CES was like...
It was 1 week ago.
1 week ago,
One week ago today, we were at CES watching our Sharp video gain video views.
Yep, that's right.
Actually, no. Yeah, wait.
Yeah, because
we posted on Tuesday, which was
right.
yesterday.
So, and today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're really good with calendars.
Awesome.
Yep.
Dude, Smoky Mountain aerial imaging. Thank you already.
What's up, man?
We just got this thing started. Have a mocha latte, caramel macchiato on SMA, and send me 6400 to replace my M50.
Yeah.
Well, you've got your M50 over here somewhere.
I do. It's right here.
We're going to talk about that in the comparisons. Let us know what you guys want to talk about in the chat section. Do at Kinotika, and then that'll let us know that you have a question for us. So do the at symbol Kinotika.
I kind of like his acronym, the SMIA or
I love
SMAI. I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Share the love, dude. Smoky Mountain Aerial Imaging, 2 weeks in a row. Great donations. Thank you so much, sir. So the 6400 was announced, and with much rejoicing from the vlogger nation, we finally have a flip-up selfie screen. It's not a flip-around selfie screen. It's not a flip-down like the M5 from Canon. It is a flip-up like the M6 from Canon, or the G7X, or the RX100. And even the A99 too, something like that, has one from Sony. Sony's done this before, so I was actually always expecting them to do this kind of system rather than what Canon does, which is much preferred by a lot of video people. Some people do argue that it's better to have this system because when you look down like this, you're looking straight down. You're not looking off to the side. You're actually looking straight where the lens is located by the monitor, which makes sense. And to argue that point, I would say that Fuji has solved this problem with the XT100, which has both. It has a flip out kind of screen like this, and then you pull that whole thing out, and the entire element of that pulls around as well. And then this continues to articulate in this way as it flips around. So
the only problem with that is, in which a lot of people
really
argue,
crazy.
is that it's more fragile that way.
Probably.
So you're much more likely to break it.
I mean, ever since these came out, I always was concerned that these would be too fragile, but they're actually pretty sturdy. I've never had a problem with these tiny little metal.
Yeah, and to be honest,
things.
I've never had a problem with Canons either, and a lot of people say they're afraid that this is going to get...
It's just one single point there.
Yeah,
I mean,
broken as well.
You know, these companies spend millions of dollars testing these things, and I'm sure they have robots that do stress tests.
Yeah.
There's a whole sector of Apple where they take iPhones and, like, destroy them.
It would be a great place
That'd be
to work.
fun.
Yeah. Apple, hit us up.
But anyways, essentially the 6400 is this exact same body, same battery, same button layout, including the crappy record button here on the side. No new ports, all the same ports. So USB micro HDMI, and a mic input, no headphone jack. It looks like they kind of took some of the just basic elements of the 6500 and the 6300, which we have here, and just kind of refreshed it a little bit. They didn't really
out the internals, really.
Well, the guy on DP Review mentioned that the grip is slightly bigger, so they've done some minor tweaks.
Sure.
But for the most part, this is essentially the same, and they've finally included a flip-up screen, which is great.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of people complain about this. If you're a vlogger, that means if you put a microphone on top,
which is what most people do,
then you're screwed. You can't flip it up all the way. But there's solutions to that. One of my favorite videos I've seen is on a guy's channel called Tube Noob, TUBE, and he's done a ton of videos on how to mount mics off to the side here by using Velcro, or like just going straight out of the mic jack, or really creative, interesting ways to do mics on cameras that have a flip up screen, like the M6 from Canon. I actually did a video on my personal channel about this, and basically all you need is just a flash bracket. It's just a little bracket that kind of goes out here. You have enough room to change your batteries out, and then there's a bracket, and then you put a little hot shoe on that, and then your mic is off to the side here, which isn't preferred because then you've got this weird little rig. I kind of like what this Tube Noob guy did, and if we get our hands on a 6400, I might do a little tutorial on how to mic the camera.
Yeah,
that might be cool.
Although we keep saying that it's for vloggers and flip up screen, which is great for vloggers, but something we need to discuss is the lack of IBIS.
I know, no IBIS in the camera, which is actually a big shocker for me.
Yeah.
Because not because I expect it from a sub $1,000 camera, just because the A6500, which has been out for over a year now, has it. So I would assume that would just kind of automatically carry over.
They're definitely marketing it to vloggers. Like if you watch the video, you see the girl, holding it out like this, talking to the camera.
Yeah.
So it's for vloggers, but there is no. You said there's IS on all these lenses, or at least the lens
some
of the lenses.
Yeah.
The one that comes with it, right? The kit lens has.
Yeah, there's two
IS.
kit options. There's a 16 to 50 and an 18 to 135. Both have IS, and they're good. And then the vlogger lens for crop sensor is a real expensive lens. It's the 10 to 18 f4 with IS. That lens is about $1,000, which is real expensive. But it's super wide, and it's
lens.
Sony's marketing strategy is all about expensive lenses, in my opinion. But yeah, if you really want to vlog, that's the lens to get. With the camera, you're spending about $2,000 on that setup, and there's no real good stabilization options. But still, I think it's a really great thing that it's here. I think it's obvious that Sony's going to be kind of maybe taking their APS-C crop cameras and creating a whole new kind of system with that, because there's still a rumored update on. If you go on Sony Alpha Rumors, there's a big headline that says this is not a true upgrade from the A6500. It's not supposed to be. This is supposed to be kind of a
so what you're saying
prosumer camera.
Something else could be coming out.
Yes.
Soon?
Yeah, soon. We'll see. We'll have to see. But we don't know any specs or information on that at all. But Sony Alpha Rumors has said that there are claims that they're doing like a more pro version of this that'll definitely be more expensive too.
By the way, guys, if you have a question for us directly, do at Kinotika and then type out your question. That way we know it's for us, and you guys can still talk amongst yourselves.
So let's tell this little story here. It's a really short story, but basically the story is this. We live in Laguna Niguel, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from San Diego.
Depending on traffic, yep.
And Sony announces the a6400. And sure enough, a bunch of other YouTubers that I'm friends with are only an hour away from us at a Sony event.
In San Diego.
In San Diego. Like, we could have just drove down there. I don't know why they didn't invite us. We'll make sure that we'll be there next time because, like, that's just ridiculous. Sony? I reached out to my friend Jordan Drake from Camera Store TV or DP Review on Twitter, and he was like, yeah, maybe you can come down and check it out. So we'll see. I doubt it, though, because it's all under NDA and, like, special stuff. But it's not that big of a deal. We made a video yesterday about it.
Super fun.
It was a lot of fun to make. It was kind of a goofy little top 10 video.
Haven't made a top 10
in the description
in a long time.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
It's kind of fun to make those little one-off videos.
It is. And, I just pulled a lot of information from the internet, from iJustine, Fun for Louie, a bunch of other YouTubers talked about it and kind of collected all that together in our video. And like I said, it's in the description. And if you haven't seen it yet, then just check it out after the stream. But yeah, let's go through some of the comments here.
Sure.
I'm seeing a whole bunch. All right, so I'm gonna just start off with the ones that do at Kinotika. We've got one from Gambitrox. I think that's how I say Gambit Rocks. Does it have a clean HDMI output? I have not gotten true confirmation about this, but if anything is like if it's like the old a6300, 6500, then it should. It should do a 4K 8-bit 422 out of the external output. So it should do it. I don't see why it wouldn't. It seems to have the same body, so yes, but I can't
with
officially
a question
confirm
mark.
Yeah, when we get one, and we'll do some tests with that and be able to confirm that for sure. Official Keith IT, nice meeting the camera operator at CES. Nice.
Oh,
you
cool.
Must have met Connor.
Yeah, what's up, dude? Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for the donation, bro. Hope you enjoyed CES.
Dude, CES was legit.
Thanks for being here and for being on our channel, man. Really appreciate it. Booby Art. Bubby.
Bubby? We'll go with Bubby.
I'm just going to go with Bubby. M50 versus 6400, who wins? Great. I'm glad you asked that because we have Connor here to help us answer that.
Sure.
And then I'll chime in as well. But we've got the M50. Connor is an M50 user, owner, operator.
Yeah.
We do not use it very much on our channel, but we do occasionally. We used it as a B camera recently on a shoot.
And it really is just
looks fine.
Fantastic B camera.
Yeah.
6400 feature wise is just creaming the M50. Like if we're just being honest with the 4K and the autofocus. The autofocus they're saying is what, 0.2 seconds?
0.02 seconds.
0.02 seconds.
It's the world's fastest autofocus ever.
So potentially that'll rival the M50's dual pixel. They both have updated processors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same megapixel count.
They both don't have internal body image stabilization.
Yep.
This obviously has the flip out screen. Flip out screen is great. It's still my preferred way. If it was flip up or nothing, I'd take flip up. But if it was flip out or flip up, I'd choose the flip out.
Well, I think you do have a little advantage though because you can get speed boosters for E-mount to make it full frame, but you lose a lot of the autofocus ability. So
that's true.
If you do change this to full frame using a speed booster from Metabones, for example, the world's fastest autofocus on this camera completely goes away. You only get that when you shoot on native lenses. However, with the M50, when you use the speed booster,
which I have on right now,
which we have there, and granted, only in 1080p. When you shoot 4K, there's no dual pixel autofocus, but when you shoot 1080p, you can actually have perfect autofocus. It's really no different than if you're using Canon's own actual adapter.
Roughly full frame. What is it, like a 1.1 or 1.2 or something like that?
So basically, if you're taking pictures or shooting 1080p video, which if you're a vlogger, to be completely honest, you probably don't want to shoot 4K for everything anyways.
At least not yet. I think it'll move that way where 8K will become the new 4K and 4K will become the new 1080.
Totally.
But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Casey still shoots on an 80D. Like, It doesn't really matter like, at the end of the day for vloggers to shoot 4K.
I think for vloggers, it's just whatever's easiest to use and provides
has the best image.
The best image with the least amount of effort. Because you're not, if you're vlogging, typically, it seems like you don't want to put a lot of effort. You don't want to have to think too much about the camera. You want to just think about what you're doing.
The problem with the M50 for me as a vlogging camera is there's really not the world's best vlogging lens for the EF-M mount. There's a 11-22. It's a little pricey, but it's really slow. It's like a F5.
Yeah.
And then if you use the speed booster, I guess you could get the there's a 16-35 F4 with IS. That one might be the best.
That would be really good.
Because then that'll be like full frame-ish.
I have a 50 on here.
Big.
You're not gonna vlog with a 50.
Yeah, this is a very tight lens. It's a nice lens though. It gives a great bokeh, really small, compact. So with this system, with the 6400, you got the flip up, and if you buy their little 10 to 18 millimeter lens, it's nice and compact and small. F4 constant all the way with IS. It's much smaller, more compact. So
also on note of these two cameras, the price difference is somewhat significant.
Yeah, it is.
You can get an M50 now for what, like $500 on eBay, $600,
pretty much,
somewhere in there. This is coming in at $900 body only, and then you'd have to buy a lens, which are very expensive, or you can get the first kit lens. I don't remember what the first.
The 16-50, that one's only like $100. So
right.
Like for $1,000 even, I think you get a nice kit lens.
And then $1,300 for the 18-135 f3.5,
which is a brand new lens, by the way. It came out like a couple months ago.
Right. So honestly, that price reminds me a lot. I was telling Dave earlier that when I bought my 70D brand new with the 18-135 f3.5, it was $1,300.
Yeah.
So,
well, it is doing for stills. It is doing a lot. I mean, it's got 11 frames per second burst rate, world's fastest autofocus, all the new color science coming from the newer Sony bodies, which is a big deal. So the color actually looks good. Battery life is not as good. You're using these old batteries, but the M50's battery life is about the same. Roughly. It's not very good either. But these are the smaller, cheaper batteries, not the new Z-type batteries that are in the A73.
It's a shame if they made the body a little bigger and threw that battery in there.
Well, see, that's where I think this more pro APS-C camera comes in at that point.
Okay.
And that's why I think that people might be a little confused right now because they're like, why does this 6400 exist? But in a way, I think they're taking IBIS, they're taking the big batteries, they're taking dual card slot, and doing all that stuff that everybody's complaining about this camera, and they will be putting that in the new crop camera, whatever it's called.
I'd be down with that.
People are saying it's the A7000, but
so
we don't know the name.
What would you think? They're trying to compete with Fuji?
Fuji probably, yeah. Canon
like more directly though with Fuji because the XT3 is crop sensor, and the 15,000 or 1,500.
But the XH1 is kind of even though the XH1 is older than the XT3, it's still more expensive, I believe. It's technically a more pro body because it has IBIS. It's a little bit bigger. It's got the screen on top.
Right.
So I think they might be competing even with that camera and the XT3. You got to remember, Sony also has, of course, their full frame cameras, so they don't want to eat into that too much.
Yeah, because once you get closer to that $2,000 price point, it's almost like, well, just get the A7 III.
Unless they're doing some crazy stuff for video on this crop camera.
True.
There's a rumor that it might have 4K 60.
Okay.
It might do 10-bit. So there's a lot of like pro video features that might be on this new thing.
Right.
It's all speculation. We don't know. But I think in a way the 6400 is actually replacing the 63 and 6500s in a way. I mean, I don't think those are going anywhere. But if you were brand new and you didn't own anything and you were in that kind of price point and you were thinking about buying a 6300, maybe buy a 6400 because it's newer and it has some of these new features.
Yeah.
But it's still nowhere near as good as whatever this next kind of thing is going to be.
Also, a 6300 is a lot cheaper.
It is. I mean, we bought 3 of these for a podcast that we've started, and they're only like what, $500 each or something. So we actually returned a GH5S for $2,500. Took that $2,500 that we bought on one camera, bought 3 cameras and 3 lenses for the same price. So All right, let's move on. Emil asks, A6500 or 64, what are the differences? Well, the main difference really is that the 6500 has IBIS and the 6400 doesn't. If that matters to you, then I guess 6500. But ultimately, the 6400 is better in a lot of other ways in terms of the color, the autofocus,
Has
and
the
then the
updated
flip-up screen.
processor, which is a
Exactly.
big deal.
So I really wouldn't go with the 6500. To be completely honest, the IBIS on the 6500 was never that good anyways.
Yeah.
It was not very stable to begin with. So I don't think you'd be missing out if you went with the 64 instead. Arnrock Nanda, sorry, we can't pronounce your name. You guys are doing a great job. Can't wait to see your channel explode.
Oh,
Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. We'll see about that. Jonathan Barrow, easy to view it as GH5 with lack of IBIS.
GH5S.
Yeah, GH5S, sorry. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, the GH5S does do 10-bit. It does 4K 60.
They're kind of in different
They're a little different.
leagues.
Yeah,
slightly.
I think, the GH5S is more, twice as expensive. There's a lot more pro video features, anamorphic
bulky
video.
body.
But one thing that the A6400 that was a big surprise to everybody is the fact. Well, two things really. One, it has time lapse again. All the
They
new,
put something back in the
Yeah.
camera. Revolutionary.
people were complaining that there was no time lapse in the A7 III, and I think it's dumb that it didn't have it, but they
Yeah.
put it back in. And then the second thing is there's no record limit on the 6400 as far as we know.
Yeah, there's just a battery limit.
Yeah, the battery lasts 30 minutes. You can plug it in over USB and power it, or
While using it?
but
Okay.
it does slowly drain the battery. Or do what we do at Polar Pro, which is use that little adapter thing, which you plug into
Is
the
there
wall.
a battery grip? Do you know that they
No.
have for it? Not yet, at least.
No, Sony's never made a battery grip for these.
Okay.
As far as I know, I think there's some third parties that do, but yeah, I think the fact that this camera doesn't have a record limit is a big deal. A lot of Sony cameras cut out after 30 minutes.
Right.
And this is the first camera since like a Panasonic camera.
So
that
to be
we
fair,
have.
like for the podcast that we're shooting all on the A6300s, if we had all A6400s with the battery going in, it would look a lot better because of the updated color science and
in
such.
theory, but
in theory,
I don't think it'd be worth $500 more.
No, it wouldn't.
Which would be $1,500 total because
right,
we'd
'cause
buy
we
three of them.
buy three, yeah.
Yeah, it's we use the EOS HD color profile. If you go on eoshd.com,
It looks good.
and look at the pro color, it looks great.
Yeah,
Like,
it looks
the
good.
color on our podcast looks better than what the Panasonic used to look like. Do you accept super chat? Yes, we do, Richard. Yes, we do. Arenyak asks again. Also, I'm looking to start out with either an SL2 or T7i. Do you recommend this for the next couple of years? Do you think mirrorless is on the way? Yeah. Honestly, if you like DSLRs, I would go with the SL2 over the T7i. I think it's kind of the better all-arounder. And it's nice and small and compact, and it does all the same things for the most part. But if you can live without a physical mirror, then I would definitely, if you're a Canon person, go with the M50. Even in 2019, the M50 is a great deal. You can, like Connor said earlier, you can get them real cheap.
Yeah, and it's pretty customizable with the speed booster or just the adapter.
And it does shoot 4K. It's not the best in the world, but you can do it.
Just get some manual lenses, and it'll make a really pretty 4K image for you.
And just adjust for that crop. So like, use either a super wide lens or do what we do here, which is buy one of the speed boosters,
which is cheaper than the Canon adapter, so
Yeah.
you might as well get
Might
the
as well.
speed booster.
George Ogbidi, sorry guys, are you giving this camera away to one lucky viewer today? We don't have it. No.
This is
a 6300.
That's not ours, and this is mine. So
But maybe
no.
maybe we'll do a giveaway.
Yeah.
You never know. Let's see. Kinotika, isn't it cool that the human can run on 4 hours of sleep? It sure is, Alberto. Thank you for that. So yeah. Anyways, the 6400, weird naming system.
Yeah, we kind of joked about it in the video.
Yeah, we went from the 6500 down to the 64.
But
it makes sense in a way because it
does.
really does kind of fall in between those two cameras with the name and everything. So That's probably why they did that. But
I say just get rid of the numbers and letters and have real names.
yeah,
I'm tired of it.
just call it the Titan.
Yeah, the Sony Titan. Actually, that should be like their
Venice.
A7 III.
The Venice is their cinema
Yeah,
camera.
they should have like, so they have a Venice line, and then they'd have a Titan line, and then they'd have a, who cares, a puppy dog line. I don't care.
Puppies.
Yeah,
That'd
this
be
is
fun.
the Sony Schnauzer.
Yeah. So if you guys, again, if you do have any other questions, let us know in the chat. Do at Kinotika. But yeah, this camera's coming in around under $1,000. It's like $900. I don't think it's the best deal in the world. I think it does serve the need of like a very, very specific niche, which would be somebody who prefers to shoot on Sony, who maybe owns some lenses already, somebody that has to have that flip up screen, who's potentially a vlogger.
Or just has been really coveting it for a while.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there you go.
I think a lot of the things that come with the 6400, like the amazing autofocus and the great color science, those are all going to translate into the future cameras from Sony. So like, this isn't the most special camera in the world. In fact, the A7 III and the A9 are getting a firmware update. I think the A7R III as well, that will include this new autofocus system. I'm not 100% sure on all the details on that, but people have been telling me in the comments that the autofocus updates on the 64 are going to come to the A7 III, which is a big deal. One of the problems that I always had with the autofocus on the A7 III was the fact that I couldn't do what I'm used to with the Canon system, which is simply just touch a subject, and then it just tracks that subject that I touch.
Yeah.
The Sony A7 III had face tracking, but you couldn't do like actual subject tracking. You would just tap something, and then where you last tapped it is where that focus point was.
And then it would just track whatever that was.
Yeah, and it worked well, and you know, once you know about it, it's kind of easy to use. But the fact that they're doing really advanced tracking now is pretty amazing. So
great. It's
using AI.
appreciated.
So the camera is actually looking at the image and using artificial intelligence to decipher, is that a face or not? And when it sees a face, it locks onto it, which is pretty amazing. That includes animal faces.
Yay, puppies included. See, it should be called the Schnauzer camera.
All right, we got some questions. Awesome.
Sweet.
Martin asks, what about filming live concerts with some light show going on? I think that the 6400 would be fine for that. I also think that the 6300 would also be fine for that. Like, there's nothing special about the 6400 that would be better for live concerts necessarily. Grumpy Digger asks, hi, first timer from Australia, big Canon 1DX Mark II user. Nice.
Sweet.
But looking at backing that up with backup that will use Canon L series, any advice? Yes, Grumpy. Thanks for being here, by the way. Welcome. What's an Australian word? I don't know.
Hi.
Crikey.
Crikey.
But
mate.
anyways, yeah, to answer your question, I think an EOS R would probably be your best bet. If you've got an expensive camera like a 1DX Mark II, spending $2,000 on a camera, it doesn't seem too far out of question for you. If you do want to stay more on the budget side, I would again strongly consider the M50. It's super small, lightweight.
Just get an adapter so you can put the L.
Yeah.
Or L series.
And
lenses
don't buy
on there.
the Canon one. Buy the one from Viltrox that has a speed booster in it, so that turns it into like a full frame ish camera. But yeah, I would stay Canon. You don't want to put Canon lenses on Sony cameras. A lot of people do it, but you lose a lot of the benefits of the camera with autofocus and things like that. So I would just stay away from shooting Canon lenses on Sony bodies, even though everybody does it. Matthew Altizer, did you read my Garth Brooks quote earlier? I think you're referring to a... Are you talking about the H3 video of Garth Brooks?
You mentioned Chris Gaines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I've seen that video before, Matthew. I
It's
love it.
a great video.
That's how I know about all the Garth Brooks memes, is because H3. So, by the way, Matthew Altizer is my brother.
Hence the name Altizer.
Yeah. All right, what else we got? We got Bogdan Mihai Stuparu. Do you have an idea of how the color science compares to an X-T3? I already have an X-T3 and I'm thinking of a B camera. Interesting thought. Yeah, it's probably not going to match that good. It's going to look similar to an A7 III, so if you've seen any footage from that, it'll look similar to that.
Fuji's color is pretty good.
Fuji's color is very good. They use a special sensor that they've designed that randomizes the color pattern, and it emulates film, and there's a lot of science behind it, but Fujifilm has really good color, and it's hard to compare to Sony. But if you have to have that flip-up screen, maybe that's a good option.
You can color match somewhat close.
Yeah. HLG is a profile that comes with this new camera, and I believe the X-T3 has HLG as well, and HLG is actually a broadcast standard, so they all have to abide by the rules of what makes HLG HLG. So if you really want to color match different cameras and they all can shoot HLG, shoot in HLG, and they all will sort of kind of match because it's a broadcast standard. So the things you know, the things you learn on the stream. Flight Path. Just wanted to say hi, guys. Great chatting it up with you two at CES. The mic blocking the screens and no IBIS seems like a deal breaker.
Yeah. Hey, nice to see you at CES.
Yeah. What's your
actual
name? Yeah, I don't recognize your handle. Anurag Nanda, do you think the 45 AF all cross points are worth it over the 9 AF because they could just get an SL2 with the kit lens? Okay, we're talking about other cameras. I don't know. We're not talking about that stuff right here on the live stream. So I'm not sure. I think the M50 is better. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Smoky Mountain Ariel is saying, what's the name of the speed booster that will allow full frame and other lenses? Are you talking about this speed booster? Because it's the Viltrox mount adapter EF to EOS M2.71X. There you
go. Let's see. So anyways, we'll just be waiting for any comments that you guys have. Looks like Alberto's, you know what would suck, not reviewing the G7. My friend's selling his Canon 6D for a 7D Mark II. Cool.
Great.
You're right. A G7 video would be great, and we will continue to have that on the list in our minds.
You should see our list. It's very long.
Yeah, we got a long list of things. If you guys have any other questions unrelated to the A6400, feel free to hit us with it. It seems like we've talked a lot about the camera, so
maybe we've hit all the points. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to cover. It's basically a 6300 with a flip-up screen
and a better processor.
Yeah, and better autofocus, but. I mean, ultimately, it's the same. It's like an S. It's like an iPhone, 6S versus the 6. Like, there's little incremental changes. That's
what they should have called it. A6300S.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Choose. Do you really think Sony AF is faster than dual pixel autofocus? According to the claims of this new autofocus system, it is faster for sure. But that doesn't mean that it's better. Yeah. Canon has a really nice kind of fluid movement to it that makes it feel more natural and less robotic. And
just because it's fast, it might be like ultra just jumpy and snappy.
You can usually adjust in settings and stuff, but yeah, just because it's fast doesn't mean that it's good objectively. But we'll have to do some tests. I hope it's better.
When does it officially come out? Do you know? It's a pre-order.
In the next couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We should be getting one.
There's pre-order links in the description, by the way, at B&H.
Yeah, if you guys want to pre-order it or be notified when it comes out, just click the link in the description to B&H. It's not available on Amazon yet, so. When do you think Sony will release a fully articulating screen on one of their mirrorless cameras? I don't think they ever will. I think they'll always do this kind of thing where it goes up.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like if we're right and everyone seems to think that Canon has a patent on it, then whatever they're charging is more than anyone's willing to pay.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And that might be just a myth too. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. It's all speculation, but
I hope to see y'all in Vegas again for the upcoming show. What camera bags do you recommend? And by the way, the next show that we'll be going to will be NAB in April.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Let us know if you're going to NAB.
If you see us, wish me a happy birthday because I'll be 22.
22
in Vegas.
Feeling 22.
That's right.
Taylor
great.
Swift Day.
I can just come up and sing Taylor Swift.
What camera bags? Honestly, Official Keith IT. I really love bags from Think Tank. It's one of my favorite companies. It has a lot to do with their zipper quality, with the Just overall bag design. They have a lifetime warranty on it, so if you buy one of their bags and it breaks, you can get a new one.
Which is great.
Low Pro is great too. Connor has a Low Pro bag.
It's like a cheaper, decent alternative to Think Tank, basically.
Yeah, so a lot of people love those Peak Design bags.
I think they're overpriced.
They're overpriced. They look stylish for sure, but I owned one for a while and I did not like it. It wasn't very functional. So, but I think there's some newer ones that have come out, and a lot of people seem to like them. So check out the Peak Design ones too if you want. Furworks, what's up, man? Made it to the stream finally, guys. Look very contrasty and dramatic.
Yeah, we changed our lighting this time. How's that look?
We kind of brightened this one up a little bit, making the background a little darker.
Punched it out to the side a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm lit from this side, giving me a little light here. Yeah.
We're still a little lopsided. It's because that chair is too big.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking up a lot of space.
It's okay. Do you like the positioning on the EVF on the 6400? It's in a weird position, in my opinion. Hey, what's up, Gerald Undone, my friend, on Twitter. Gerald is a really great YouTuber. Have you seen his stuff?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna watch it now.
What's up, dude? We need to like meet in real life.
Gerald Undone, is that his handle on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's
Sweet.
great. I like it. I like the positioning. This is considered a rangefinder setup, similar to an old Leica, which I have one, and I'm a Leica fanboy. So having it off to the side is great because my giant nose doesn't hit it, and the reason for it is so that you can use a 2-eye shooting style, so I can actually see what I'm shooting, and then with this eye see the real life as well, and kind of see what's coming in my peripheral. So I like it, but you know,
I prefer center, to be honest, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's happening, Gerald? What do you think of the a6400, dude? Do you like it? Do you think it's cool? Are you gonna get one? I don't know. There's not much to say about it other than the autofocus, color, and the flip-up screen.
We'll have a lot more to say about it when we actually have one.
Not sure that lifetime warranty is overpriced. I don't know what he's talking about. The Think Tank?
I guess so.
Alberto, for video, Nikon Z6 or A7 III? Currently, I am on the Nikon train. We've been shooting on the Nikon Z6 for about a month, like almost completely.
Solely, yeah.
And this last video that we just uploaded yesterday was the first time we used our new Atomos Ninja 5 shooting 10-bit with the in-log. And man, I really, really love the colors.
I think that
I love the files.
Back when we were shooting on the A7 III, it did look good.
Yeah.
Like it did. But since we've switched to the Nikon, I would say it's objectively better.
Absolutely.
Color-wise. Yeah, it's a great camera.
Also, I feel like the grip is better. It's more comfortable to hold. The battery life is just as good. We do need to get some sort of thing, like a power solution for when we're doing live streams, because we just go off the battery and it's going to die.
Yeah, we just kind of hope that it's good.
But yeah, I think the color is better. I mean, this live stream, the last live streams that we've done with the Nikon, in my opinion, are the best looking colors that we've ever had on a live stream.
Yeah.
So
even the EOS R, which we used on one, I would say this Nikon looks better, but we didn't really play around with the settings much on the EOS R. Could have probably looked better. Also,
not to mention the fact that Nikon will be shooting ProRes RAW, which is going to be a huge game changer.
In the summer?
Yeah, in the summertime-ish. Okay. So yeah, Nikon Z6 for the win. What are your top 3 predictions or things you're looking forward to in 2019? A7S III, whatever this Sony crop camera is, and then new Canon EOS R, which I really hope for.
The better version that they promised us.
Like non-camera related stuff that I'm excited about, Mac Pro. New Mac Pro will be released this year at WWDC probably.
It's another thing that we're gonna want and not be able to afford.
Yeah. I really always need like laptops really because of what we do, but I do want a nice Mac Pro. There's also a rumor that they're gonna do a whole new body redesign on the MacBook Pros as well, so we'll see.
Ooh.
Gerald Undone, the A6400, kind of
unnecessary.
I'm on the fence. I'm not sure it serves enough of a purpose. Yeah, I think you're right. The autofocus on the 63 and 65s were so good to begin with that the fact that the 6400 has better autofocus isn't really even that much of a selling point because it was already good on these cameras.
Yeah.
It's just better, which is always good. And then the flip up screen, I think if you've been on the, like, you know, if you've just been frustrated at Sony for so long for not having it, the fact that it's there is a big deal. So that'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, your stream looks very nice. Vibrant AF.
Thanks.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, we're shooting on the 50mm 1.8 Nikon manual focus lens.
I think it's at f.
It's at 2
right now.
Yeah, we can't go all the way open. It's too soft.
OBS, when we stream, it's always desaturated and we look a little bit like zombies. So we bump up the saturation a little bit. Not a lot. I think I did it like 1 or 2 bumps. Maybe just 1. So
yeah.
It looks really good.
Great. Yeah, skin tones look great. What streaming setup are you guys using on now? Yeah, we're just shooting on the Nikon, going to the AV.io box.
4K box.
It's a 4K from Epiphone video or something.
Yep.
And then that goes in over USB-C on my MacBook 13-inch running OBS. And then this is literally just a blue Yeti USB mic. That's literally...
And we use... we plug directly into the Ethernet, so we're not on Wi-Fi.
But it's still not like... It's still not very good, the internet here. That's why we're only doing 720p.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, would you say the Z7 is a better pick than the A7R3? I would assume that if you're looking at the Z7 and the A7R, that you're a photographer and you need that extra resolution. That's the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. Sony's been around longer. They've got more lenses available on the native mount. Nikon does have a ton of Nikon lenses that you can adapt, but the actual Nikon lenses are pretty limited for now. But I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Nikon. I think their EVF is better. Their handling is much better. So if you're a photographer, I think you'll enjoy the experience more on the Nikon over the Sony. So I'd go Nikon.
Yeah.
My wife, who is using my account, says, "What's the best video for lacing Easy 350s?"
That's not a question for me.
I would just do a simple search on that. I recently was watching some videos on how to clean my my shoes, my Yeezys, without harming them. So I think that's why she's
get a shoe cleaning kit or go to a shoe cleaner.
Making fun of me for that. Yeah, I have some nice.
I'm sure there's lots of shoe cleaner places around here. We're in LA. Yeah,
there are. I'm coming from NEX, and the A6400 seems like the perfect middle ground. Wish it had IBIS, but it's only $900. I know it's. I feel like if it was $200 more with IBIS, it would actually.
But that
be
might
better.
Be what the next one is.
Yeah, I know. Do you think they released it just as a response to the M50? Potentially. I think that the M50 has just been surprising everyone with its success. In fact, it's still one of our top viewed videos, and the video came out back in August or something,
like that.
So
last summer.
Gerald Undone says that he does the same thing for his live streams. He just boosts the contrast and
there you go.
Yeah, we have to, because the thing just kind of desaturates. It's weird. We just picked up a Camlink 4K for one of the feeds of our live show, and that little guy is a wonder. Nice. That's the Elgato, I think. How about overheating? Osiris Rex. Yeah, I was following Camera Store TV guys, Jordan Drake and Chris Nichols on Twitter, and they both were doing some tests with the overheating, and they were just rolling the camera like endlessly, and it just records nonstop until the battery dies, and then you put a new battery in and it keeps going, and they had no overheating issues at all. So
that's interesting.
They might have, with the new processor, kind of helped with the overheating problems.
That'd be great.
Diana Gladney says, Dave, what year is your MacBook Pro? Seems to do a good job streaming. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize it, but I have a cheapo MacBook Pro 13-inch from 2016. This is literally the base model without the touch bar. This is I think I paid $1,200 for it, and it was used then too, so it was pretty cheap. It's only got 2 USB-C ports, so I have to use like a splitter to use all of our accessories, but The reason that the stream looks so good is because the box that we're using does all of the processing for me. So the box itself converts the video and
we used to shoot it on an Elgato HD, and it doesn't really do a lot of the processing, and a lot of the processing was done in the computer, and it was not very great.
Yeah, it was laggy and like it didn't work properly.
Basically, if you have a slower computer, the AV.io box is great. And
Elgato makes different boxes that do the same too, but
the one that we got.
Yeah, the one that we got didn't. So Smoky Mountain Aerial Imaging. Awesome, guys. Can't wait to see more videos. Thanks, dude. Osiris Rex, how about overheating? Oh, I already answered that.
You already read that.
Did you guys check out the VR tech at CES? We did. We looked at some of it.
We played.
Well, it was fun.
We went to like the one. Apparently, they're going to put it in arcades.
It's hard to do VR because we both got to experience like the best VR ever. At Downtown Disney, there's this really cool thing called the Void, and it was like a Star Wars VR experience.
Yeah, so basically you put on the goggles and you put on a full suit actually that has like sensors in it, and then you go into this warehouse basically that's...
And they give you a gun.
And they give you a gun, and it just, all the walls, like you walk up and you see a wall, and that's a wall in the game. And
yeah,
it's amazing. It was Star Wars themed. It was a lot of fun. If you got shot, you felt it. You felt it on the armor. It's cool.
If you get shot, you die, you know.
In real life, it's insane.
No, it was cool though, because it was this big room, kind of like laser tag almost, like all these little walls and rooms. But when you put the AR or the VR goggles on, it just maps that whole room into this
it's actually
layout,
trippy,
and you walk through this world.
And it was cool because we were on Mustafar, if you guys know what that is, if you're a Star Wars nerd like me. It's a lava planet, and they actually had heaters, so when you were going over the lava on this little floating platform, you felt heat. It was awesome. Yeah, so the VR at the CES was okay.
By the way, if we have any new people on the stream, do at Kinotika and then ask us a question, and that'll help us see your questions. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Nope.
Yes, I have. Good reference.
Should I sell my Canon 200D and Panasonic G7 and get the a6400, or is it a bad idea for video blogging? I think that Alberto will completely disagree with me, but yes, I think you should. 6400 has a better autofocus. It's 4K. It's got better image quality. It's got the flip-up screen. I say go for it. But the G7 is good. Doesn't have good autofocus at all. And then the 200D, what is that? Is that the SL2?
I think so, actually.
I don't know that. Yeah, SL2. Honestly, the SL2 is probably a better vlog camera. You get longer battery life, flip out screen instead of flip up, so you can put your mic on top. And it's 1080p and it looks good. It's Canon. Canon's always good.
Yeah, so if you're happy with 1080p, nothing wrong with that.
Garage Biz, what about skin tones on Sony? Honestly, the skin tones on newer Sony cameras have gotten much, much better than they used to be. Of course, that's objective and that's not a fact. That's just what I think. We had an A7 III for a while, and after playing around with different profiles from EOS HD and messing around with HLG and different things like that, we actually got it dialed pretty good. To me, I thought it actually looked really pleasing. So
yeah,
it wasn't bad by any means. It still wasn't as
good. Go back
good.
in our YouTube channel, find when we got the A7 III and watch the videos. Like the next 10 videos were shot on the A7 III. Yeah,
so it was a great live stream camera too. I think that the A7 III served us really well for live streaming. Greetings from the dark and cold Berlin. I was thinking about buying the M50 and using a lens as close to what you would get with the Sigma 16-1.4. Do you think it works? I was thinking in a Tokina. What's up, Abraham from Berlin? I don't fully understand your question. I think you're just saying you're going to get a 16mm lens from Tokina. I would actually strongly suggest you look at just the 22mm f2 Canon EFM. It's a good lens.
Yeah.
There's also another lens that goes with it really nice. It's a 30. what is it, a 32 or 35, 1.4, I believe.
I think it's a 35.
So that one is the EFM, and then they actually announced at Photokina, I think, a wide angle,
This lens.
Yeah, so that's the 22. They make this lens. It's nice and small, really compact, great depth of field. But they're making a 16 millimeter EFM lens. I don't know if it's out yet, but there is a roadmap with it.
Anyways,
So,
this one looks really nice.
I believe. Am I lying?
I don't know.
EFM 16 millimeter 2.8, I think.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah, I don't know. I could have swore that I saw that, but I might be confusing that for Fuji. Diana says, what's the battery life on the 6000 series? Curious what it'd be like on the 64. Well, it's not the best. I actually had somebody in the comments say that they shoot on the 6500 and they get about an hour and a hour-ish, hour and 10 minutes.
I think it
which
depends
isn't
on what
bad.
you're shooting, though. I mean, if you're shooting 4K, you're going to drain your battery a whole lot faster. Or if you're shooting 1080 or even 720, I don't even know if it does 720.
I think one of the big things that I want to test too is the screen, and to see if the screen will actually dim when you are recording 4K. That was one thing that the 6300 and 6500 did, and it was really, really hard to see your screen. I remember shooting weddings with the 6300 with my friend Jeffrey, and we'd shoot 4K, and like we're outside, and you literally cannot see anything. So the rolling shutter also doesn't seem to have been improved at all, which has always been kind of a problem with these cameras. When you shoot on a gimbal or a tripod and shoot proper video, you never really see the rolling shutter as much of an issue. Like I said, I've shot a ton of weddings on this camera right here, the 6300, and never had any problems with the rolling shutter because we're using gimbals and tripods. But when you start doing handheld vlog stuff, that's when you really start to see that little micro jitter. Yeah. And because there's no IBIS, any little movement that your hand makes really accentuates the rolling shutter.
That jello-y effect. Sizzleman says the screen does not dim, according to Jason Vong.
Sweet.
So that's great. He's a reliable source.
And then Max Yurov as well. Cool. Yeah, we love Jason. We actually saw him at CES. Yeah. And kind of hung out with him at the Sony booth of all places.
Of course.
Does not dim. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Now we know.
Dang, that's lower than the M50 gets 2.5 hours on Canon battery on my M50 1080 24. Do you get that much?
I've gotten some pretty nutty times out of it, shooting 1080.
I suggest a smaller cage and have a cold shoe mount on the other side of the camera to have better access to the flip screen. Yeah, I think when the 6400 comes out, putting a cage on it will be great. You can put your mic either off to the side here so that the screen can still flip up and still use a mic, or maybe off on the side here or something, or on the side.
Anywhere that's not on the top.
Anywhere that's not on the top. There's a lot of solutions, a lot of hacks. If you just search cameras that are similar, mic setups for cameras similar to that, then you'll see a ton of videos on YouTube. One that comes to mind that I think you'll probably get the best videos out of is if you search mic on Canon M6. That camera is pretty popular for vlogs, and it flipped up like this from Canon, and a lot of people came up with creative ways to put a mic off to the side. So I would look into that if you're interested in doing that. Cool. So 6400, it's here, it's announced. We're definitely going to get our hands on one and do an official review, but until then, check out our top 10 video if you haven't already. We go over some of the interesting, important factoids of the camera. Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't invited to the event. I don't know why. We were only an hour away. Really, really dumb. Hopefully, we'll be invited next time. So, but yeah, if you guys have any last-minute questions, let us know. But yeah, I think we're coming to a close here.
I think that was
if you didn't have an M50,
me,
would you want an A6400?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, no.
I would price.
I would. Well, I don't think that their price is comparable enough. I think if I'm gonna buy an A6400 with the lens, because I'd probably buy it with a lens. So let's say the 18 to 135. That's $1,300. I don't know, if I had a few extra $100 around, or I could sell a few things, I would
That's
just buy
really
the
good.
XT3. To be honest,
Yeah.
if I was,
You don't get the selfie screen. You don't
No.
get the amazing autofocus.
You're right.
The autofocus on the XT3 is better than most, but it's still not as good as the Sony.
Yeah, or I mean, even just buying like a 80D or something. I don't know. I
think you're right.
It.
The XT3, if you're a real pro, the XT3 in a lot of ways is much better deal. Just pay if, like you said, if you're buying a lens with the a6400, you're spending around $1,200, $1,300 or so. For literally like $200 more, you can get an XT3.
Yeah.
But then obviously you gotta get lenses for that too.
It's true, but I don't know. I think like I could find something in my house to sell to make up that money. Like personally, I think you're close enough to that price point with the XT3 that I would find a way to make more money to get the XT3.
Gotcha.
Wait an extra month.
And that's mostly because too you don't rely on that selfie screen necessarily.
Right. I'm not a vlogger.
Yeah. Even though you do have a flip out screen.
I do, but I love I always shoot like this pretty much. This setup.
Which you would do on the. I do that too.
And you can do that with
on these cameras.
With the Fuji.
On the Fuji, the Nikon, the Sonys, I'm pretty much always shooting like this because it's so much more comfortable to just look straight down like that. So
yeah. I don't know.
Anyways, Dan says, is there an onboard mic? Yes, there's an onboard mic. And one interesting factoid about it is they moved the mic on the RX100. Well, they didn't move it. I think the mic has always been in the front. Never mind. Fun for Louis mentioned that it's on the front now, but I don't know what he's referring to. He might be referring to the RX100, which has mics on the top. But I'm looking at the 6300, and the mics are right here in the front. So mics seem to be okay. Some of the video tests that Fun for Louis did with the onboard mic sound fine, but there's a lot of noise because of the wind.
It's really just good for pairing to something else, like a lav.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Although David Dobrik shoots on an 80D with no mic. He just uses the built-in mic, and he's a multimillionaire. So
to each their own, I guess.
All the best, guys. Keep up the good work. You definitely deserve more subs. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. That's very nice. Great work. Really, really dumb. LOL. I know the workaround. I posted what you said earlier. Still considered an epic fail. I guess you're talking about the mic situation. L bracket, screen dimming, no screen dimming, no IBIS on XT3 either. Yeah, so no IBIS on XT3 makes it more comparable to the 64.
There's no IBIS on this either, so
yeah,
they're all in the same vein.
Dan, yeah, thanks. Everybody hit that like button as you're leaving.
Boom, boom.
We don't really, like, I need to learn more about analytics for live streaming.
We don't really call anything like that out.
Yeah, I guess we should say that. Yeah, thank you,
I mean,
guys.
I feel like if you're here, you like us okay. So.
Will the audio sound different when mounted to the side versus the top? No, it will not, because the difference between being here and here is really no different. And if anything, it'll actually be clearer because it's closer to your mouth, kind of. So, Furworks coming in at the very end, like always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
$5.
man.
A6400 coffee donation. Better AF plus $5. Flip up screen plus $5. But no IBIS.
Minus
$5.
That's right.
That's awesome, man. Dan, I have some insight. I guess we're talking about the likes. Thanks, man. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this stream and you like our channel, please consider giving us a like for this video. It means a lot. Thank you so much for answering my questions. Abraham asks, my question was related to the weak capacity and low light M50 and what would be the lens, so I thought about Tokina. Oh, yeah. Yeah, be careful. The M50, you don't really want to go past like 1600 ISO and it starts looking pretty bad. So
as much light as you can let in as possible.
Yeah, like
the better.
The 22 millimeter, like we recommended earlier, that's an f2, so it's nice and fast. And then if you get the speed booster, you could get, some primes,
some fast primes, EF mount primes.
How's Orange County? I would love it. I love it here. Truly, truly love it.
Although it's been raining like the past 6 days. What the heck, California?
I know. It's really strange. All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on 1 hour. I think we're at the end here. So any last minute things, go ahead and throw it in the comments section. What do we got for the rest of our week? We got a video that we're gonna post on Friday about the Nikon. We gotta finish that up and get that done. And then next week we've got some reviews that we're gonna be doing. We got another CES video that we'll post. So yeah, a lot of stuff coming soon on this channel, so make sure to stay tuned. And we're so happy to have you guys. We love doing the live streams. What time is best for you guys? Is this a good time? Was this too late? Was this too early?
I feel like this was a decent time.
We had some good
numbers
here. Why and how did you start Kinotika? That's a question for another time.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But it's a good question.
Ask us next stream earlier if you can, and maybe we'll answer
Jake,
that.
are you hearing all that? You're probably hearing all that. We used to actually mount this on a nice little shock mount that was detached from the table. I might bring that back into our setup here because if you're hearing all the
David moves a lot,
all the noise. This table is also like the loudest table I've ever used.
We need to get some. We talked about this before. We need to get like some oil or something to put in the table leg joints.
Yeah, the legs on this thing are so squeaky.
It's not. It's an okay table.
Yeah. Cool. Furwork says it's a good time. No other streamers going on right now.
Okay.
Caleb Pike does his stream today, but I think it's later in the day. So, all right, guys. Well, we will be signing out. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.